And finally, a story about the architect Ralph Fournier, who passed away at the age of 98 in early September. When we did this story with him back in 2019, he had been long retired, but he had lived long enough to see the homes he designed in the 1950s as starter homes to be considered classics of mid-century modern architecture. Last fall, this street was just lined with cars and visitors showing up to buy tickets to tour the Ridgewood homes.
All right, so this is the brochure here. Gives you
The event was put on by Modern STL.
On this page here is the map locating each of the houses in the neighborhood.
The organization is dedicated to promoting and preserving St. Louis's modern architecture. And when it comes to mid-century modern homes, Ridgewood is like stepping back in time. The houses here were built in the 1950s and they're still here. They haven't been torn down. No McMansions in sight. And this style has fans of all ages.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still seem pretty modern, that whole open concept. I just feel like it started now in this time period. And I just think they feel so cozy.
We grew up watching the Brady Bunch, and this is what we grew up watching. You know, this type of architecture, we always loved it. And when we saw that this was going to be a house tour, we thought, this is our opportunity to see something like this inside. So
the tour started at Todd Heilman's house, the rare split level in this neighborhood. He was in the market for just such a house when this one became available a few years ago.
Yeah, the mid-century moderns are just, use so many good design principles. I love this house. I love everything about it.
You don't mind sharing it with people?
No. Come one, come all.
No one is more pleased or even surprised by all of this than the man who designed these homes very early in his career. Ralph Fournier is turning 97 years old this year. The street was lined with cars, people walking up and down, going in and out of these houses. Did you imagine that would happen when you were working on these developments?
Never, yeah. It has changed so much now. Everybody thinks a lot of them.
Fournier designed hundreds of homes in this style. These were in partnership with developer Burton Denke. This was post-war America, lots of young couples looking for places to live and raise their baby boomer children. They wanted a house and a house they could afford. And Denke and Fournier set out to meet the demand.
We were making homes for people that couldn't afford a big house. That was our starter. It was sort of a starter house.
And what went into that? So if you're making a starter house that's affordable, how did you and Burton Denke get around to making it affordable to those folks?
Well, it was basic. It had three bedrooms, a living room, a dining room, and then a bath, kitchen, and a little utility room. And there was no attic space and no basement.
One way to keep the cost down was to use prefabricated pieces that were shipped in. The trick was in how they were put together. But you're working with the same pieces. As I walk through and see that
It's the same thing, but it's turned around or flipped, and it was easy to work with because we had panels that were 2'4", 4'4", 6'4". So if you wanted to make a bigger building, you could just add either one of those panels.
Construction techniques saved money too. They put in a perimeter foundation, put up columns and beams, put on a roof, and installed the wall panels.
Then they'd pour the concrete floor. They wouldn't do that until they had the whole thing enclosed, so the weather was no problem.
There were other big suburban, mass-produced post-war developments in St. Louis. Homes in St. Anne were also built fast and made affordable. The real estate ads in 1953 priced these at around $11,500, a couple of $1,000s cheaper than Ridgewood prices. But these did not have a look that said modern. These did, and one of them was featured as a 5-star home in Better Homes and Gardens, which called it an achievement in small house planning, a fact that was featured prominently in ads in the real estate section. In one ad, Ridgewood homes were called contemporary, yet ahead of the times. So today we call it mid-century modern. What were you guys calling it?
The style, I think the style was kind of California.
The features included the shallow, sloping roof, high ceilings, large windows, and while you could get an enclosed garage, most of the homes came with a very non-Midwestern carport. So what brings you guys here?
Because we lived here. We lived here. I lived here for 30 years.
You weren't thinking you were living in classic homes?
Kind of.
We knew we were living in homes that were a little bit unusual,
Yeah, they were different.
but nothing that would ever be of note, really. I never thought about it historically.
Styles, of course, they come and they go. What's modern in one generation becomes old-fashioned in the next, possibly rejected, even torn down. And then another generation comes along. So what brings you here?
Interest in mid-century modern houses. I'm a member of Modern STL, just joined this summer because my husband and I bought a mid-century modern house.
Were you looking for mid-century modern?
Well, we've always liked it, and we just stumbled on a house we fell in love with. We didn't think it'd be possible for us to have one, and we were really excited to get one.
You've lived long enough now to see these being viewed by a new generation with a new appreciation for it. That must make you feel pretty good.
Oh, and enjoying it. They all think they're still pretty good.
Ralph Fournier seems to take all of this in stride. He retired from architecture 30 years ago, and he did design some showcase homes for wealthy clients. But it was these kinds of 1950s mid-century starter homes that now have people proudly saying,
Well, it's Ralph Fournier.